Hey guys, Mark here, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about Dahvie Vanity once again. This is going to be my third video on him, but there is so much material to cover. So today we'll be talking about his friendship with the famous singer and YouTuber Jeffree Star. Now before we begin, I have nothing personal against Jeffree, and I'm only looking at the facts here and any inconsistencies or anything like that I may see. So to start off, Jeffree started his career as a famous singer, and he actually ended up touring with Dahvie Vanity's band, Blood on the Dance Floor. Now as we know, Dahvie would use these tours to prey on his young fans, and as we know today, there have been over 21 allegations made against him. Now there is also reason to assume that his bandmates knew what was going on, and that includes Jeffree Star. So after their last show in 2010, Jeffree Star tweeted against Dahvie Vanity and apologized to his fans. Now I was surprised he didn't speak out sooner, but I guess they were in an arrangement with the tour, so you don't really want to speak out against your tour mates when you're touring. I still think he should have said something. The issue is, in 2011, only 1 year after he tweeted this, Jeffree tweeted about Dahvie again, this time saying that we should stop all the negativity, and he even went so far as to call him a brother. So this is where things get weird, because after you know what was going on with Dahvie, and might I add, this was an open secret, and yet, here we see Jeffree Star 1 year later saying that he's a friend, a brother, and that we should stop all the negativity and hate towards him. Now, I shouldn't have to explain why this is weird. I'm not sure exactly why he said this, and I definitely don't agree with it. Jeffree even went so far as to promote Dahvie's new album, which makes even less sense given the circumstances. Now, this next part, you're not going to believe. Jeffree actually went on tour again with Blood on the Dance Floor in 2012. So the fact that he exposes this guy on Twitter and then only 2 years later goes on tour with him again makes absolutely no sense and makes Jeffree appear fake and selfish. It's clear that he only got back with Blood on the Dance Floor to make money, and I don't know what's more important to him, money or the fans that Dahvie has been taken advantage of. Now, I really have to call Jeffree out on this because this is one of the most selfish things you can do, and I can't believe he walked back on what he said in 2010, especially knowing what we know now and the fact that this was an open secret, which is further supported by the fact that J. Von Monroe went on chrishansen's channel to tell him the whole story, just makes me wonder where Jeffree's priorities lie. According to J. Von Monroe, everyone was well aware of what Dahvie was doing behind the scenes, and this basically leads me to believe that Jeffree has no excuse for going on tour. For one thing, he's not only supporting Dahvie's terrible actions, but he's putting his own fans in the line of fire. By going on tour with this guy again, he was knowingly risking the safety and security of his own fans, who would be showing up to these concerts and possibly, or very likely, encountering Dahvie. It's very strange that Jeffree would expose Dahvie and then act like his best friend, despite there being so much evidence and him knowing without a reasonable doubt what a terrible person Dahvie is. Because in 2019, we had this whole debacle with James Charles, as I'm sure most of you know. There was this whole thing with Toddy Westbrook saying terrible things about James Charles, and Jeffree jumped on the bandwagon and pretty much defamed him with little to no evidence. And yet, this year, he's acting like him and James are best friends. But in that case, Jeffree had little to no evidence against James. In this case, there is so much proven evidence against Dahvie Vanity that it makes no sense why Jeffree would ever consider him a brother. And for those reasons, I really have no idea what was going through Jeffree's head. I really have to call him out on this, and I completely disapprove with his decision to associate with Dahvie once again. Dahvie is still active. He's trying to profit off a merch line, and he's got a new YouTube channel, or maybe the same YouTube channel as before, under a different name, called Kawaii Monster. It's a shame to see that this guy is still trying to take advantage of these young fans, and he still has fans, I should add. These people, he has kind of a cult following. They haven't exactly left his side. And I don't know what Jeffree thinks about this now. I haven't really been following the recent news with Jeffree and Dahvie, but just the fact that they have a history of this on and off friendship is very concerning and should make you take a second look at the people that you follow on YouTube. Because a lot of these people do things for money and nothing else, and they don't have a lot of integrity. And I think that what Jeffree did shows a clear lack of integrity. Now I know Jeffree has a very dedicated fan base, and I just want to remind everybody that I have nothing personal against him. I just find it very inconsistent and irresponsible that he not only knew what Dahvie was doing, but exposed him on Twitter, and only 2 years later went on tour with him again and helped promote his music. I think this is reprehensible, and there's really no way to atone for it, honestly. I hope that Jeffree addresses this, especially now that Chrishansen has been going after Dahvie Vanity, and we'll see. I think it's only a matter of time until some real legal action takes place, until things actually get done in this case. I think more is on the way than what happened with Onision, because with Onision, in a lot of cases, they were just allegations that weren't proven. As far as we know, he didn't exactly break the law, at least not in any way that we can prove concretely. But in the Dahvie Vanity case, he very clearly broke the law on multiple occasions, and I personally believe that all 21 allegations are true. And I also believe, and this is just my opinion, that there are far more people that were affected by him that just aren't speaking out. And it's only a matter of time until they say something. Now, I definitely think this guy deserves at least life in prison because he's been getting away with this for so long, and you know that he's probably going to be a repeat offender because he has such an extensive track record of doing these things, and if he ever goes on tour again, those fans are at significant risk. In my opinion, it is far worse than the Onision case, and I am very surprised that Dahvie has friends and fans even still. Now, I will say, not to defend Jeffree Star at all, but part of the reason why he might have stayed with Dahvie or stayed his friend was probably because of the pull that Dahvie has. A big reason why people weren't so willing to speak out against him, even though they knew what was going on, was because he had a lot of power and influence. Ever since he started out as a famous hairdresser on MySpace, Dahvie has been a very influential person. At least, that's the rationale that a lot of his bandmates, like Javon Monroe, had for not speaking out sooner. And I'm sure the case was the same with Jeffree Star. Now, I'm not saying that you guys should give Jeffree Star any hate or not watch his videos. I just think this was a very irresponsible move on his part that took place not so long ago in the grand scheme of things, and it should make you all second guess the people that you follow. I definitely am taking a closer look at everyone I follow now, just because you don't know who's really who they say they are. And a lot of times they might speak out against somebody and then be friends with them the next day, or act like they're friends with them and secretly hate them. I mean, fakeness exists everywhere, but especially on YouTube. With that said, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, and consider becoming a patron to get early access content and support the channel. That's all for today. I will see you all next time. Peace.